Word is born. What's good, y'all? Peace to all. I go by BROOK. I'm from Queens, New York, down in Florida. I was born in Jamaica, Queens Hospital. In Jamaica, Queens. There's probably a handful of rappers from back then in the day that you might know, may not, that were born there. So that's a little like, this is a nice little lore bomb, you know what I'm saying? So, saying that to say, like, I was exposed to hip hop from a young age just because of where I was in Queens. You know, my parents grew up on it, so, you know, I kind of rubbed off of them over time. Yeah, I lived in New York for about 6 to 7 years straight. Lived in Queens, Hillside specifically. I spent a lot of time in whatchamacallit, Rochdale. Had some aunts there. My grandma still lives there. I got one aunt who still lives there. New York is crazy because it's small geographically, you know what I'm saying? But that shit is crazy, son. Like, you got millions coming from different parts of the world, you feel me? Like, different races, different cultures. And you know what, like, what made America America is kind of what makes New York New York. It's the diversity, you know what I mean? Like, you get a little bit of everything there. So, and there's just things that go on there that, you know, if you know, you know, kind of shit, you know what I mean? Like, the transit system's crazy. We got the boroughs all got their own slang. Like, I say son because Queens niggas say son. That's just how it is, you feel me? My dad says that shit, you know, my family, you just grow up hearing these things, and, you know, as you get older, you start to learn them. But yeah, parents were together until I was about 2. Stayed with my mom. Still stuck with my dad all the time, you know what I'm saying? Like, me and my parents are like, we're all like this. But stayed with my mom. When I was about 6 to 7, my little bro was born. He also does rap. One love, the diehard runner. He now goes by Runner, but yeah, once he was born, went down south to Delaware. We was back and forth. We was pretty much in the tri-state area of most of our lives. I didn't come to Florida until about high school, so I've been here about 10 years. It'll be in, yeah, 10 years just passed. It'd be 10 years in July. So, but yeah, mom was born in Germany. Her dad, my grandfather, he passed away when she was about 5. But he was in the military, so she was born in the base, and they ended up going to, I believe, Queensbridge for a little while, and then they relocated to Rochdale eventually. And they've been in Rochdale for about, well, my mom's parents, they've been in Rochdale for about 30 years. My mom was in Rochdale until she was pregnant with me. My dad is from Harlem, so he's been pretty much in every borough. He's lived in every borough in New York besides Staten. So, you know, he has a lot of experience with the music because he kind of grew up during basically his most important ages in life, like his late high school years, like early 20s. That's when like Illmatic dropped, you know what I'm saying? A bunch of music, like Biggie dropped, Redman, and you know, that whole splurge of hip hop, that whole span of like 6 to 7 years was just like, he was there for that golden era, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, my parents, coming from their background in New York, the streets and shit, you know, they brought that music over to me, just playing it. So, you know, over time I got exposed to it. But yeah, my whole family is pretty much from New York. I have some family in Jersey. I have a very big family on both sides too. I'm on my mom's side, I'm like the oldest cousin of the 2000s. I was like the first child for a while. And on my dad's side, I'm like one of the youngest. It's like the complete opposite. But yeah, family's mad close. And my mom and dad's side, they even used to have been close for a while too. That was a funny time, yo. Mom had a lease situation. So we was kind of like back and forth trying to figure out where we was gonna live, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, life was just happening, and my mom at the time was pretty much a single mom, you know what I'm saying? And one love to the single moms out there, because that shit does not come easy, you know what I mean? Like, just the environment the world places on women, and then, you know, the pressures of just dealing with that and holding it down on your own with, you know, 2 sons. But because of that situation, I ended up relocating down here because I had So basically my mom's cousin, she lived in Florida for a couple of years, so we ended up living with them. So that's how I ended up in Florida. I've listened to music my whole life, you know what I'm saying? So music's always been a part of me, even when I wasn't making it, but I didn't really start thinking about making music until like late high school. I'd say about senior year. Yeah, I want to say senior year. So senior year, I was fucking around with my homeboy, and we just made like, it was a song for fun. That shit was ass, son. I was just fucking around. I was like rhyming my last name and shit. It was like corny bars, but I was just curious, wanted to give it a shot. I remember too, I rapped over bank account from 21 Savage. I got a homeboy who could vouch for me. Nicola, let him know, son. But yeah, man. High school, I started listening to a lot of lyrical rap. I started with like, shouts to JID, just dropped the album. JID, like Earth Gang, a lot of Dreamville stuff. Kendrick. And this is stuff I've heard. Like in terms of Kendrick and Cole, I've heard them for a long time, you know, because they came up during the blog era. But I didn't really start understanding lyricism until high school. So I ended up going back to a lot of stuff I used to hear on the radio, in terms on the lyrical side. And it gave me kind of a newfound appreciation for hip hop, because believe it or not, I didn't really fuck with hip hop during my early years in high school, because at the time there was a wave of hip hop out that just like, it was the mumble rap era, they call it. It was whatever for me, bro. But you know, I expanded my horizons, and I kind of realized like, yo, there's a lot of good shit out there, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of shit, you know, the game's weird right now. You know, they don't put a lot of that shit in the forefront. You kind of know what they value through the radio and shit, and what is kind of put under the rug. You know what I'm saying? What's swept under. But yeah, I kind of learned from there. There's a lot of good shit out, and kind of learned about more artists. Didn't think about music in terms of making it for a long time. You know, I went through college. I was just trying to figure life out. And I actually drew first. I've been drawing since I was 2, so that's like my first love, you feel me? But it was about 2023, like 2 years ago. I had a job situation where I got tight with a manager, and we was just going at it, and got kicked out the store, yo. And I was mad, so I was like, you know what? Fuck that nigga, I'm gonna make a whole song about his ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, 4-minute song. And I actually recycled the song recently, because the beat was dope, and there's actually some nice lyrics in there. But when I made that song, I kind of realized, like, damn, that was decent. Like, what if I just kept trying, you know what I'm saying, just make some better shit, you know what I mean? So I was like, alright, I'm finna do that. I'm finna just make more songs, and here we are now, like 2 years later. It'll be 2 years in November, but yeah, that's kind of how it started, you know, like just hearing hip hop over the years, flirting with it, and eventually just going in like 10 toes deep, you know what I'm saying? Hip hop is crazy, man. It feels like one giant story, you know what I'm saying? Like the pure hip hop, everyone who's about that is of the same cloth to me, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of realizing, you know, immersing myself in music, that you could be a part of that cloth, and you could bring something original and unique to it that could really change lives, yo. Like, I hear artists talk about their fans being like, yo, this song, like, you know what I'm saying, saved me from like suicide, shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Or saved me from like deep feelings of turmoil, shit like that. Like, music could actually change lives. Like, words could actually have an impact, you know what I'm saying? In the world that's like, in the world that kind of drowns out a lot of the important shit, you know what I'm saying? Especially words. Like, the world kind of makes, you know, expression and art feel obsolete. So, you know what I'm saying? Knowing that you can make something that could actually impact someone and like change their day, or like their point of view on something, you know what I'm saying, is like, is beautiful. So I'm kind of striving to do that now, you know, and present myself in a way that's authentic. So I'm just, you know, figuring myself out as I go, because like I said, I've only 2 years deep into this shit, you feel me? But you know, it's changed my mindset on a lot of shit. You know, I want to kind of bring a lot of my different skill sets into the table, you feel me? Like, I can edit, Like most of the videos I make, I do on my own right now. I want to bring my art into it, and kind of like elements of my personal life, you know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely want to bring elements of life into my music that aren't really put into the forefront of hip-hop. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, normally with hip-hop, depending on the era, depending on the cloth, you're hearing generally a lot of similar shit going on, you know what I'm saying? Not that everything sounds the same, but the overarching message in that pure hip-hop sound is usually similar, you know what I'm saying? But I want to kind of like, you know, like racial issues, street stuff, but you know, I want to kind of narrow down those subjects in my projects, in my works, because there's a lot of other facets of those things that I feel aren't really discussed, you know what I'm saying? Like domestic violence, whatchamacallit, you know what I'm saying? Like the political landscape, you know what I mean? Like shit that's going on outside of America that I think we should be wary of. And from an African American point of view, because we kind of live in a world where, you know, our voices are swept under the rug. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in today's climate, you kind of see it going on. They're trying to diminish our history. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything we make is either questioned, diminished, you know what I'm saying, or it's bastardized. So, you know, I want to kind of explore those subjects in my music and express it, because I know there's people out there who feel strongly about it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I you know, it'd be dope to make the fun shit too, because of course I want to balance everything, you know what I mean? But I also, like, overall, I want my message to explore those facets of music and life. Next week, definitely dropping a freestyle. I'm gonna have a wave of those dropping for like the next month or so. Then in the next few months, around the holidays, I got a special project coming out. Can't talk too much about it because it's part of a collective. But one love to Q Money, one love to True Rain, you know what I'm saying? One love to Zaize, you know what I'm saying? One love to Dabber, you know what I'm saying? Benny, Zach, DJ Lowen, you know what I'm saying? These are people that are going to be a part of what I'm doing in the upcoming months, you know what I'm saying? So you could expect 2 projects. One's going to be a little different. It's not just going to be me. And then I'll have an individual project coming out, and that's going to be me, you know, all of me for the most part, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you little pieces of pie, different layers of me, you know what I'm saying? Just crumbs, because I want to build towards that in my discography. So yeah, you could expect a lot of shit, especially in the holidays. You know, I just try to have the mentality of, you know, I try to manage my expectations, you know what I'm saying? Especially with music, because I think that's a big thing, you know? Like, people want like the craziest shit, you know what I'm saying? Or they have expectations that are just a bit unrealistic or just too high, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, life happens and shit, man. So, you know, I just try to stay grounded, keep my expectations low. And it's not because there's nothing to expect, you know what I'm saying? It's just that you want to stay grounded so that when shit goes south, you could bounce back, you know what I'm saying? Because that's going to happen all the time, especially with music. But another thing I do, wake up, I go to the gym, you know what I'm saying? You know, I take my diet seriously. I take my overall health and well-being seriously, you know, because that all coalesces into being the best version of yourself. Those are all factors, you know what I mean? Like, what you put in your body will reflect on your skin, you know what I'm saying? Your hair, your fingernail, all that shit, yo. So, you know, I just try to keep a well mind, body, and soul, yo. That's really the best you could do right now is, you know, self-love, self-preservation, you know. Just finding that inner peace, because life's wild right now, fam. It really is wild. But word. Motherfuckers can vouch for me since, like, middle school, high school. Like, I've always been, you know, more introverted, reserved on myself. You know what I'm saying? But because of that, through my music, I really want to connect with people. That's really the goal. Like, I don't care if I have 1,000,000 fans. I don't care if it's like 100. I don't care if it's 1,000. Cause think about it, bro. It's all perspective. Imagine like 100 people in a room who fuck with your music genuinely. You know what I'm saying? Like, will actually listen repeatedly. Your brain can't really internalize that number. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, that's fucking dope. You know, you got 100 niggas fucking with your shit. You know, so it's like, in my eyes, that means I made it already. You know, because all artists really want, genuinely at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, is for our sound to be received. You know what I'm saying? We want people to hear our stuff for what it is. And we just want it to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? If they're saying it's trash or whatever, like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just dope that someone's talking about the music, you know? So I just want to connect with people, yo. Like, I want to, like, it's kind of like fetching a bone to people out there, you know what I'm saying? And seeing how they receive it. So I definitely want to connect, you know, just speak the message and just put my voice out there, because I think one of the most important things for a black man, especially young black men in this era, to have is a strong sense of self and a voice. Not being afraid to speak up, because historically speaking, our oppressors didn't allow us to do that. And when we did, they opposed it. You know what I'm saying? So I think having that in today's climate too, where there's a lot of lack of backbone, it's mad important. So I feel like I could do that through the music, you know? Like, I already have people who receive my lyrics and they relate and understand it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have like a legitimate project out. You feel me? So it really makes you think, like, damn, like, what if I just keep going with this, yo? You know what I'm saying? Like, how far could I really take this shit? Invest fully into yourself. Figure out what you want to do, who you are, and it doesn't have to be overnight, because it's not a race, yo. It's really not. We're all racing towards, we're all gonna be dust at the end of the day. You feel me? So, you know, use this one life, this blessing, to sort out what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? And figure out what you love about yourself. Figure out something you have a genuine passion for. And just fully indulge, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's scary, you know? Pushing yourself through the fear will give you more confidence. It'll give you more courage, because I relate to all that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was young in high school, like, I didn't know any better. You know what I'm saying? I let a lot of shit slide that I shouldn't have. I didn't have a strong sense of self. So I get being there, you know, at the bottom in terms of like mentality, your sense of self, your security. But it just takes a lot of time, you know, just figuring your shit out, doing research. The internet is an amazing tool for research. There's a lot of bullshit out there, but when, you know, just question everything you see, you receive, have some level of skepticism, and, you know, you'll eventually find the truth out there. You know what I'm saying? You'll find knowledge, learn about your history, learn about where you come from. There's a culture that you are from that you could take pride in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate how African Americans are treated, but I'm proud to be one. You know what I'm saying? And everyone should be proud to be who they are, and to be and to even be born on this planet, bro. Because there's like 8 billion people on this bitch, son. Like, the odds of not being born are also like super. Like, bro, my parents could have easily just like, my mom could have had like a meeting to do that day that she married my father or some shit, or when they first met. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even be here. So the fact that I'm here is a blessing, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's beauty in everyone. So, you know what I'm saying? To those who feel otherwise, just know there's something in you, yo. Like, we all were placed on this planet for a purpose, yo. It's just a matter of investing in yourself, you know, finding that purpose. And sometimes that purpose changes, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what I say. Invest in yourself. For one love to my parents, yo. One love to my pops. Me and him talk all the time, so, you know, his wisdom and his perspective, you know, coming from a different time and just seeing how things have evolved, it helps me navigate the world as a black man. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still young, yo. Like, I'm not even 25 yet, so You know what I'm saying? Shit is, you know, information's kind of hitting me at a fast pace, and it can be overwhelming at times, but my pops helps me stay grounded with that, you know what I mean? Other people that inspire me, you know, my boys, whatchamacallit, Dop, Benny, you know what I'm saying? Seeing how they rap and the care they put into their music and how serious they take it, being surrounded by those people is a blessing, yo. One love to y'all, man, because, like, for real, yo, that shit, like, it makes me want to up my game, you know what I'm saying? It feels empowering being around those kinds of people, you know what I'm saying? Like-minded creatives who have a genuine love for their work. Like, their projects are like their babies, you know what I'm saying? Like, they coddle those shits. They fucking tend to them almost every day. You know, you're putting frustration into it, damn near blood, sweat, and tears. So yeah, man, like, just the people that I'm surrounded by in my circle inspires me, yo. Like, even the bad that goes on, yo, like, just the foolishness that I see all the time, just shit like that inspires me in a way, because it's like, all right, you know, now I know what not to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that motherfucker over there tripping, I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, just, I try to be inspired by everything, man, you know. I try to be a sponge. Like, I try to soak in my surroundings, I try to be sensitive to them, and that even reflects within the music, because a lot of the shit that I talk about, you know what I'm saying, is stuff that I see or stuff that I learn about. I guess I'll drop some knowledge, yo. You know, two things. One thing, don't put all your eggs in one basket, yo. I've been having this epiphany lately, but you know what I'm saying? You know, learn when you're making this music specifically, try to get an idea of what's going on around you, you know what I'm saying? Try to get a grasp of what your videographer's doing, you know what I'm saying? Get an idea of the DAW you're using, get an idea of what the producer's doing, you know what I mean? Like, garner as much knowledge as you can and as many skills. And mainly what I mean by don't put your eggs in one basket is have other means of money that you could garner outside of the music, because to be brutally honest, there is barely any sustainable money in music to be financially stable, you know what I'm saying? I think we're in an age now where you kind of have to side hustle to sustain the dream, but that's okay, you know what I'm saying? Because you could make it out. It just takes a lot more patience, and we're in a different climate now, you know. The world isn't as predictable as it was. It's not just go to school, get a house, all that shit, you know what I'm saying? Now, you know, people with degrees could barely even find jobs now. Now there's competition. Now rent is super high, to the point that you go to housing because housing is cheaper, you know what I'm saying? And because the house market is shit, they put the rent up. So, you know, they're putting you in these traps. So, saying all this to say, you know, have different alternatives to make money in case shit goes south. That way you're not, like, lost, you know what I'm saying? And also to garner some sort of financial stability, because most of these artists, like these record execs, are just, they're signing their soul away. Now you owe them like 6 projects, you know what I'm saying? Now you're stuck slaving, rushing your music, compromising the creativity and the integrity of your work. You know what I'm saying? Not worth it, yo. So, you know, have other means to get money. Find some sort of independence in the music, so that you're kind of not necessarily a one-man army, but so that you're malleable. So if any of those fields go wrong, you know, you'll still have legs to walk on. And trying to think of what else, like a little second bit of knowledge. Whatchamacallit? I think a big element in hip-hop, I think one of the most important ones, is authenticity. So my word of knowledge to everyone would be, you know, rap about what you know about, yo. If you're not doing promethazine, nigga, don't rap about it. I mean, if you decide to do that, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But if you're trying to make hip-hop for, like, purists and for the culture, you know, being authentic is real, man. So, you know, Figure out who you are, like I said, because the more you know yourself, the more authentic you'll be, and that'll reflect in everything that you do. I'm not even just talking about music, my nigga. This could be real life. It could be going to a friend's house. And I think I heard Kendrick say this in an interview, so word to him. The first thing I remember now, one of the first things people sense, they won't say it to you, but they will sense it. It could be the biggest fool on the planet, it could be the most brilliant mind on the planet. The first thing a man notices, or any gender or whoever, when one walks into a room, is their authenticity. You know, it's something that kind of emanates out of you. It's almost like an energy barrier. You know what I mean? It's that whole energy says a lot about a person. You know what I'm saying? Even the way you stand or walk. You know what I mean? Like if you're rapping about this, and you know, when you go on that stage, it doesn't really reflect it. It's like, you know, you kind of lose credibility in a sense, and you might even lose respect. You know, so it's just rap about what you know and just be authentic, yo, because it just makes everything easier. You don't have to try too hard. You don't force shit. Things of that nature. So just be you and keep putting your music out, because you never know who's watching. That's how I ended up where I am now. You know, I was just making beats, making songs. I had no expectations. I was just doing it because I enjoy this shit, yo. I'd still be doing this shit if I didn't know everyone that I'm talking to now. But one love to DJ Lowen, he reached out to me, and now I know all these wonderful people. You know what I'm saying? So just keep pushing, yo. It's K Brook. One love to respect the vibe. One love to the hip hop, the culture. One love to everybody. One love to Light Sound. One love to my old man, yo. Peace.